This week on Dulcimerica, we'll be shaving a dead man. Kinda. Welcome to Dulcimerica, everybody. My name is Futch. Thanks for joining me. Today we're playing a tune called Shaving a Dead Man that I learned from Terry Lewis. I think it was at the NGFDA Fall Festival in Helen, Georgia, many moons ago. This is a great tune written by Oscar Wright for clawhammer banjo, and I just happen to not have a clawhammer banjo, but I have the next best thing. I have a Folkcraft Instruments lapjo, which is basically a dulcimer banjo hybrid, which is perfect for this tune. So we are in DAD tuning, and the tune as I'm playing it is in the key of D, although I've heard many different versions of this in different keys, and there are some variations largely having to do with the B part, and the A part is fairly similar across the board. So let me just go ahead and play a little bit for you, and then we'll walk through it, and then we'll play it with an extra special bonus at the end. So that is a slow version of Shaving a Dead Man, and just a variation of it, because as I mentioned before, I've heard a lot of different things in that A part. The B part is fairly similar across the board, depending on who I'm listening to. It's a little bit different, but it's basically, as it was showed to me by Terry Lewis back in the day, this little kind of a thing here. We're doing these, we're picking, and then we're pulling off at almost the same time. Pick, and then coming right after it. So we're creating the 16th note cascade. And it's a kind of a neat way to get that banjo sound, even if you're not playing a banjo with the double picking and everything. So the basic notes are, it sounds a little bit like Liza Jane. And then that is all for the A part. Did it backwards that time. I think I've heard that in one of the variations I was listening to. So once again, we're hitting it, and then at the same time, we're hitting it and then pulling off after we pick it. That gets our double pick in there. Ding dong. Pick, pull off. Pick and pull off. That sounds like a chicken joint or a rib joint. I'm not hungry, I swear. Sometimes picking upwards, sometimes picking downwards. And when Terry showed me, he actually did this a couple of times. So he came up to the A and grabbed that too. Again, I think just some variations going on there. So that's the A part basically. One time through the A part. Some people are playing 1A, 1B, some people are doing 2As and 2Bs. I'm doing two A's and two B's. That's the A part. Very, very fun. If you don't want to do the hammer on, you could just go and do the same thing just like that. Okay. Now looking at the B part. The B part, there are some variations going back and forth. I listened to the original Oscar Wright recording. I've listened to a number of different artists over the years play it, and there seems to be one thing that does happen. It's just kind of a little line that comes in like this. And in a nutshell, that's basically the melody that's going on in the B part. And we're doing the same sort of thing, not as much of the hammer on, or pull off rather, but we're kind of interspersing that with the other notes to give it more of a banjo feel if we're coming from a place of the mountain dulcimer. So the way I learned it from Terry was this. One time through the B part. After I decided I wanted to do a Dulcimerica episode on it, I went and listened to a few more variations out there to see what was going, and that's when I ran across this one. Now, when I played it originally with Terry, we hung out in D, and there wasn't a lot of fussing around with trying to change chords. It was very modal, very locked in on the one, and we didn't hear any specific motion. The melody doesn't really scream out, change a chord, although you could very easily go to a G or go to an A in some of these places. This little thing I found, this definitely wants to lean toward doing a G major or 4 chord at that point, because it's hitting the 4 from this point. Well, it's not hitting the 4, but it's hitting a B rather anyway, and that B is in our 4 chord if we're in D major. B would be in the middle of a G major chord. So depending on the melody you play, it might either urge you to lay some chords in that are a little bit differently, or you might just stick with a D drone, and that's really kind of all you need for this piece. I like this a lot. And the reason I'm showing you just the major, the main riff, is that there's this other interplay, the banjo interplay, coming back over as a sort of roll. Myself, I don't know how to paw hammer just yet, claw hammer just yet, to do that reverse thing that mountain dulcimer players do to create a claw hammer or a frailing kind of a sound. I can frail, but what this calls for is more of a claw hammer style. So what I'm doing is I'm really focusing on that melody line, and then while it's decaying, coming over and picking the other 2 strings and sort of creating a banjo-esque kind of a thing. So and that melody gets my full attention when I want to move it from place to place. But I come back to it intermittently when I put in some of the extra beats and extra notes and other strings to make it sound more like a banjo. Huh. You know, it's not often that you're doing Dulcimerica and you're called by the John C. Campbell Folk School. I should really answer that, but I can call them back because I think they'll understand. I'm in the middle of recording something. This is really funny. This has never happened before. Anyway, let's go ahead and review the A and the B part, right? A and the B part, starting here. So that is A and the B part of Shaving a Dead Man that I learned from Terry Lewis, probably 2006 or 2007, I think it was. And they played it so stinking fast. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. But I won't do that to you right now. But I mentioned a bonus at the end of the episode, and I'd like to mention that Mountain Dulcimer in the Band Book 8 is now in production, and the first track completed was Shaving a Dead Man. So what I've decided to do with the backing track on this is to let it ride with D major. That's it. This is the old-time equivalent of a North Mississippi Hill Country tune that never ever leaves the one chord. It's just going to hang out in one, which means you really have to count very, very carefully and go through your A part twice and go through your B part twice. But I've got a little backing track here, so I'm going to go ahead and play it and jam along. You come along and jam too. We're at 115 beats per minute, and we got a nice old-time bluegrass arrangement. So here it is. A little bit of Shaving a Dead Man with the backing tracks from a future book coming soon. Or if you're watching this sometime in the future, or you're a time traveler, the book that's already been out for hundreds of years. Ending on the tune there. That is Shaving a Dead Man. I'm probably going to do something a little bit different with the track, but right now, if you want that backing track, I don't have the tab right now, but if you want the backing track and the tablature, go on over to patreon.com/BingFutch and check out the post, and you'll be able to play along with Shaving a Dead Man and try your hand with the backing track as well. Coming up after this, I'm not exactly sure, so send me your suggestions. BingFutch@yahoo.com. What would you like to see on Dulcimerica next? Thanks, everybody. We'll see you then.